Delay crochet. What does Dookie Chase not only mean to the Zulu organization, but to you both?
I remember running around Dookie Chase when I was a kid. I remember when I was working on the Obama campaign, seeing the pictures of Obama coming down and really understanding, like, not only is this important to us, it is important to the country, the work and the heart of Dookie Chase.
Growing up in high school in the 70s, it wasn't very many places you could go to eat for homecoming dances, proms, winter formals. So Dookie Chase was one of the few places us as people of color, as black folks, could go to eat, out as a high school student.
When you get to New Orleans, somebody'll show you the Zulu game.
As a kid in New Orleans, on Mardi Gras Day, you wanted starched jeans, a jean jacket, a bandana, and some black makeup underneath your eye like you were a cowboy. You were tough. And you would always go to Orleans and Broad to look for Zulu because you didn't know where to find them. They did not have a specific route at the time. So it was whichever location that they frequent the most, that's where they would go. And Dookie Chase has always been one of those first places.
You'd say that you always couldn't find where Zulu was, but they clearly found you both early on in your lifetimes.
We were really blessed in my family that both of my sisters were Zulu maids. Both of them had the same Duke. His name was Louis Rainey. And somewhere along the line, my mother and Louis became friends. And in 1996, when Louis Rainey ran for king and won, my mother became the first King, Queen Zulu to not be from New Orleans. And so even before I became a Zulu maid, I was my mother's handmaiden.
I was at a St. Augustine football game, and a friend of mine who I went to high school with, we were talking, and he said, "Man, I ride in Zulu." And I said, "Man, can I do that?" And he said, "Sure." He said, "I'll put you in contact with the guys." And from 97 until now, it's been a blast.
Obviously, you are elected. Our queen here was selected by you. First, I want to know how you all know each other. How did this, because obviously it's a big deal to select the queen.
Part of it has to do with who was her mother's king. One of the reasons is because we both enjoy smiling, and if she had frowned once, then it probably wouldn't have. But I just think laughter is a big part of life, and that's something no one can ever take away from you.
I was completely captured by the community work he was talking about, Toys for Tots. Zulu this year gave over 1,000 children toys, bikes, tablets.
I was looking at a video when I was at the Toys for Tots distribution, and it was dark, and people were lined up outside waiting to get in.
Around the corner and down the street. I love this. This is what I understood about Zulu, is that you give back to the community.
Right.
Many years ago, it was my parents had me in the line at the auditorium getting a toy because they just couldn't afford it, sometimes. And I always made a promise to myself, if I could ever make a difference, I was going to do it. I just have this strong belief that it's about all of us. It has to be.
So what's the moment that you dread the most?
The day of the campaign, the day of the voting. If I had to take a physical the next day or the day before, I'd probably been in hospital. That was probably one of the most stressful days I've ever had in my life, the day of the voting, and just because that unknown. You believe you've done everything it is, has a lot to do, I believe, with the work I've put in and just being a humble person, just always willing to lend a hand to someone.